Hi, this is Dawn Olszewski with DOstampingwithDawn.com, and I'm here with another How'd She Do That video. And today we're going to do this wonderful background technique. It's called Polished Stone with a Wink. You need just a couple of ink refills, some rubbing alcohol, a cotton ball, and of course the Wink of Stella. So let's get started. I have everything lined up here. The two ink refill colors that we're going to use today are Pool Party and Wisteria Wonder. I've got my rubbing alcohol, actually isopropyl alcohol, and I've poured a little bit in one of our embellishment containers. I'm sure a lot of you save those. And of course I have a cotton ball. And then this is the clear Wink of Stella brush, and that's our little magic trick that we're gonna add to this. So you're going to start with a 5 1/8 by 3 7/8 piece of glossy cardstock. Now that also is the magic to this particular technique. So I'm going to get my cotton ball wet with the rubbing alcohol and set that aside. Then I'm going to do 3 dots, kind of in a triangle, of the Pool Party, and again 3 dots of ink with the Wisteria Wonder, and then with the Wink of Stella brush. Now typically when I teach my customers how to use these, I am telling them don't squeeze too hard because you'll get kind of a mess. But this time we do kind of want to squeeze hard because we want to actually get those drips. Just like those dots that we did, we want to get some drips. So I'm going to see if we can get this for you here. Oop, there we go. It's dripping because I'm squeezing it. And so I want to do a couple of those. Alright, so we'll set that aside. Here's what it looks like. And we're just going to pounce on our cardstock here. And you want to get that all over. And don't worry too much about what it looks like at first because this is going to start to kind of move around. Now typically when I do this, I have enough on my cotton ball, so I'm just going to set this aside to do a second one. And usually the second one isn't quite as vibrant, but it still is really nice. I'm going to go ahead and finish that up. There we go. Isn't that cool? So like I say, as this is going to dry, it's going to look a lot different. So another thing I might mention is, so if you could use, these are, oh gosh, I don't know why I can't think of it, gloves, plastic gloves. You could use those if you don't want to get your hands all messy. I didn't use that today. But notice how these are starting to look completely different. You could even see how it's pooling there. I could even move that around if I want to and add a little more fun to it. So we're going to go ahead and let these dry, and I do have some other ones that I did that are already dry, so I'll get right back to you. While those are drying, I want to talk a little bit about how we're going to finish off our card. I'm using the bundle that is called Night in Bethlehem. This is the stamp set. It's from the 2017 holiday catalog from Stampin' Up! And we're going to use the greeting, one of the greetings from that. And then we're going to use the Bethlehem edgelet dies. I've already pre-cut these. Let me show you what you get with it. So these are called edgelet dies, and the reason for that is because these two pieces don't cut out an image. They are edgelet pieces. So let me show you what I mean by that. And first, if you're following along in your catalog, it's on page 26. You can see the stamp set, and at the bottom is the edgelets. But this bundles together, you save 10%. So if you're not familiar with Stampin' Up's bundles, they have a lot of them that coordinate with a stamp set and or a punch or dies. And you want to look for this where it says save 10%, but also a thing to remember is when whatever catalog they're in, that's the catalog you get the bundle price. So if this product were to carry over in a future catalog, it would not be bundled. So if you're interested in any of the bundled products, make sure you get them from the catalog that they're published in. I hope that makes sense. All right? Okay, so let's talk about these. So I used, this is how I die cut. I actually had a piece of silver foil that measured probably roughly about 4 inches by 5, probably 6 inches. And I did it all together. You could run these through, and I do recommend the precision base plate with this as well. So you also can see, if I line these up next to each other, that this one is taller than this one. So these are designed to stack on top of one another. And then also I have the star ready, which I've put a dimensional on. So let me talk a little bit about dimensionals, because Stampin' Up! Now has these mini ones, which I love, and then the regular size ones. So on this one, oops, I'm going to bring you in a little bit and show you how I use these. So I have these little ones at the top of all those houses, and then I have the larger ones here in the center. So another tip on dimensionals is that I like to take my fingernail and I kind of press in the middle, and notice how these come up easily. So much easier. All right, so we're ready to put our card together. These have dried now, and you can see that this was my first one, and then this is like a second generation of that ink color because there isn't as much on it, and this is what it looks like. So I want to show you some other ones I did exactly the same way, but I may have, like, you know, squeeze the bottle a little harder. You never know kind of what kind of combination that you're going to get in terms of the shades. So here's another one, and this one actually you can kind of see the Wink of Stella. So you might be asking, well, why did she use the Wink of Stella? I have to admit, it's hard to capture this on the camera, but in real life, oh my gosh, you can see the glittery tones on here. So it's beautiful, and when your recipient gets it, they're going to love it. But here's the same, this is all exactly the same technique. But you can see that maybe I was a little heavy-handed on some of the squeezing of the ink bottle, but that's okay because these are all gorgeous. Any one of them would be beautiful. So I'm gonna grab this one. All right. So we're ready to add our kind of landscape here. A little snail adhesive. And we're going to line that all the way up to the bottom, and I'm just kind of centering it from side to side. Okay. And then the next one goes on. These are Stampin', the ones that I had ready with the dimensionals, and I have pulled all the backing off, and I'm just going to center that over it as well. Isn't that cute? And then I'm kind of ready at this point. No, I'm going to add my backing. So this is Elegant Eggplant. And I do recommend a lot of adhesive, or even maybe a stronger adhesive, fast fuse. When you're doing techniques that kind of have water and the paper, you know, isn't completely flat, using a stronger or more adhesive is a good tip to be using that with. All right, we're just going to add. Now this Elegant Eggplant piece measures 5 inches by, 5 1/4 by 4. All right, so at this point what I want to do is put this greeting on. We're going to use a couple dimensionals to do that. Now this greeting is like 1-inch strip, and I just used a 1-inch strip, probably by like 4 1/4, and then I had put it in the triple banner punch. Now the reason I like to kind of use a longer strip is that I'd rather have a longer strip and cut the edge off than to have something a little too short. So that's what we're going to do here. We're just going to cut that edge off. Paper snips. Go ahead and add the star that I put a dimensional on. Ooh, and you'll also notice that I put a rhinestone in the center of it as well. We're just going to add it to our thick card base. I really like that we have Whisper White in thick as well as very vanilla. So this is 8.5 by 5.5, and just score it at 4 1/4. Give it a good pressing, and we'll go ahead and add our final panel to it. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this. It's a pretty cool technique, and as you could see, it's pretty easy. It comes together fairly quickly. This might be a good one if you want to mass produce, you know, maybe half a dozen of them or so. I think it could be a good option. So how'd you like that? I hope you enjoyed it. And if you're looking for Stampin' Up! Product, be sure to visit my store. It is at DOstamping.stampinup.net. If you're looking for more creative ideas, you can visit my blog at DOstampingwithDawn.com. Thanks!